In a letter to Prime Minister Liz Truss, the chair of the House of Lords Science and Technology Committee urged her to increase funding for UK tech R&D innovation. The committee was then requested to look into the UK science and technology strategy, but with recent events, it's no surprise that investment is sorely lacking in many areas of government. Keep watching for more news. First, the dire warning given to Prime Minister Liz Truss. The Baroness expressed concern about the chronic underinvestment in scientific research in the UK when measured against other OECD countries. She claimed this severely undermines the UK's dominant position in the technology sector. She further encouraged the Prime Minister to name a science minister to the cabinet as soon as possible in order to fix this. The committee encouraged the next Prime Minister to make the office of the Minister for Science and Innovation a cabinet-level position in a report that was released in August. The Baroness stated in her letter that she felt these strengths were seriously threatened and that those efforts should be increased to guarantee that the UK reaches and surpasses the target of 2.4% of GDP spent on R&D. Science and technology policy must be targeted consistently and cohesively in order to produce economic growth and better public services for the country. The National Science and Technology Council, NSTC, is a subcommittee specifically entrusted with managing technological innovation, but they seem to have dissolved with the previous government, which was also criticized in the letter. The committee asked the new government to think again before making this choice. For economic growth and to meet the many difficulties the country would face, government ministries must coordinate a coherent science and technology strategy. The letter concluded by stating that the Truss administration would need to renew its focus on science and technology investment. Even so, the UK has great potential to become a science and tech superpower across the world. Next, what the House of Lords Science Committee looks over. The general mandate of the committee is to analyze science and technology by conducting cross-departmental investigations into a variety of diverse operations. It examines government policy. These are issues of public policy that need scientific research to educate them, such as the health impacts of air travel, technological opportunities and problems like genomic medicine, and also public policy towards science, such as establishing priorities for publicly financed research is important. The committee occasionally conducts shorter inquiries as well, either to gather information from ministries and officials on pressing matters or to follow up on earlier work. They wanted to clarify that while the previous administration goals for science and technology, as well as its pledge to boost spending, were admirable, it was now time to turn those goals into a clear action plan. Moving on to who Liz Truss appointed. After much criticism, Liz Truss finally responded and chose a new Minister for Science. The position, which had been open for 3 months, was filled by Nusrat Ghani, a member of parliament for a district in southeast England. Many UK scientists had become concerned that Prime Minister Liz Truss did not prioritize science due to the delay in choosing a minister to manage research and innovation. But it came as a huge relief that someone was finally selected for the position. But Ghani has a big and growing list of things to accomplish that are piling up and don't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. She must complete several urgent duties. There will probably be a settlement in the heated talks between the UK government and the European Commission soon on access to the nearly €100 billion research funding program Horizon Europe. The likelihood that UK researchers will no longer have access to this funding source because of Brexit is growing. That would be a serious setback for intercontinental cooperation. There are few details available, despite the UK government's claim that it's creating a domestic Plan B backup fund to replace this income. As energy prices rise, scientists are also concerned about the rising costs of maintaining labs. In response to the fiscal policies unveiled by Truss's administration, the value of the pound sank. Truss, who assumed office in early September, had to change her mind yesterday about the most divisive proposal, a proposed tax cut for the top UK earnings. Up next, so who is the new science minister under Rishi Sunak? The Conservative MP George Freeman, who resigned from his position as science minister in July, has been reappointed in Rishi Sunak's new administration. Prior to leaving in displeasure over the leadership of the then Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Freeman held the position of science minister for 9 months back in 2021. At the time, he gave his reasons for his departure. Apparently, he disliked Johnson's lack of transparency and truthfulness with Parliament and his willingness to get his ministers to mislead the Parliament. Freeman made the case for a complete UK association with Horizon Europe during his first term as science minister. However, this issue has been unresolved because of how the government has handled the Northern Ireland Protocol. He also started developing a Plan B to support UK science in the event that the nation was fully expelled from the EU's research initiatives. However, little information about these plans has come to light during the significant period of disruption that has engulfed UK politics in recent months. Freeman said on Twitter that he will take on the post of Minister for Science, Technology, and Innovation, adding that his key priorities upon returning for the position will be dealing with Horizon Europe and Plan B. However, since Nusrat Ghani was chosen by the former Prime Minister Liz Truss to serve as the Minister of Science, seems to have kept her job, it is now unclear exactly what duties he will have. Finally, the UK values science so much that it it has two science ministers. The Department for Business, Energy, and Industrial Strategy has officially announced that Nusrat Ghani, the current science minister, will continue in her role there. George Freeman, the previous Minister of Science, was also reappointed. Since then, they have both tweeted that they have been appointed as Ministers of Science, which appears to divide the mandate in two, using the emojis for DNA, satellites, vaccination, and ships. Ghani tweeted on October 26 that she was happy to be reappointed and was going to continue her work. She said that continuity was crucial for the proper development of public services in the UK. Freeman also tweeted that it was a privilege and honor to have been chosen by HM the King to serve as the next government's Minister of Science, Technology, and Innovation under Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. He modified his Twitter bio to read Minister for Science, Technology, Innovation, and Space, and he used emojis for electricity and a microscope. Hetan Shah tweeted in response to the UK, appearing to have two science ministers, and said that it was all better to secure the R&D budget and finally obtain an association with Horizon Europe. In other related news, starting with UK's third Prime Minister in 2 months. The UK has had 3 Prime Ministers in less than 2 months, making Rishi Sunak the 5th in 6 years. For over a century, this leadership change is the quickest. Since the summer of 2007, the positions of Prime Minister have been held by Gordon Brown, David Cameron, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, and Mr. Sunak. In contrast, during the 28 years prior, there were only 3 Prime Ministers: Margaret Thatcher, John Major, and Tony Blair. According to Jill Rutter, the Brexit vote in 2016 has been the biggest source of instability in British politics over the past 6 years. Almost all the unrest can be attributed to how the Brexit referendum affected the Conservative Party and its aftermath. Up next, Rishi Sunak reinstates Suella Braverman. After reappointing Interior Minister Suella Braverman after her resignation due to a security lapse on Sunday, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak came under escalating pressure. Just days after leaving the short-lived cabinet of her predecessor Liz Truss, Miss Braverman was restored as Home Secretary when Mr. Sunak became Prime Minister. On Sunday, Yvette Cooper, a member of the opposition Labour Party, criticized Sunak's irresponsible reappointment of Braverman to the position in charge of matters relating to domestic security. She also told Sky News that there were concerns regarding possible additional security breaches by Braverman. Finally, King Charles speaks on the new Prime Minister. As Rishi Sunak assumes the role of British Prime Minister, King Charles seems to be very pleased. Royal analyst Matt Wilkinson predicts the monarch would relish his new alliance with Sunak since he enjoys his weekly meeting with the politician. He obviously spent a lot of time with Rishi Sunak and found him to be quite fascinating. They both take their work seriously, therefore they will now meet at least once a week to talk about the current issues the country faces. Apparently, King Charles has been waiting so long for opportunities where he gets to talk to interesting people. That's a wrap for this video. Thanks for watching. What do you think of the allegations of underinvestment in the UK government, and how far would science-related projects go to fix the economy? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.